New York Theological Seminary is one of the most dynamic, exciting centers for theological learning in the world.
You're in a nurturing place. You're in a place that wants to take you higher.
It calls you to wrestle with your own theology, but I have always been intrigued by professors who can make me think.
No one here at NYTS ever said, you'll make a great preacher, or you'll make a great this. It was like, where are you at? And what do you want to do with that gift?
A winter's morning at New York Theological Seminary, a meeting of the Doctor of Ministry candidates. The room resonates with the perspectives and reflections of many different cultures and faith traditions.
We're all here together, Christian and Islam and Buddhism and Judaism, because a student is seeking to do a Doctor of Ministry degree.
The exciting thing about New York Theological Seminary is that day after day we witness the powerful transformation of those who are called here to serve. It is a place of transformation, accessibility, and inclusion.
The curriculum is rich, it's biblical-based, and it's spiritually grounded.
And it always was. From the beginning, there was a clear emphasis on the Bible and on practical training for ministry. This was the thinking of evangelical theologian and visionary founder Wilbert Webster White.
White really wanted a school where people from all denominations felt welcomed and were encouraged to learn together. He really focused on training of women for ministry, training for people for global ministry. By the time we got to the 1920s, we were one of the most diverse theological seminaries in North America.
On the occasion of White's 75th birthday, he received a giant volume of testimonies written by his former students in ministry the world over. The book speaks to the diversity of the seminary even in its earliest years.
One of our most famous graduates was a woman named Maria Kim. She had been part of the March 1st, 1919 movement in Korea, was one of the few women leaders in the independence movement against the Japanese. She came to New York City, entered biblical seminary in 1928, graduated here in 1932, went back to Korea where she was the first president of the National Korean Presbyterian Women's Organization. She was really emblematic of the kind of mission and ministry that NYTS embodied in those years.
And to this day, New York Theological Seminary continues to embrace and support people's calls to ministry.
I was running away from the call for a long period of time. I would say I was an outstanding Christian, meaning the weather is very good in India. You can stand outside the church and walk away. My mother was diagnosed as a renal failure patient, and she was given time about 48 hours. And I received a lot of support from my friends, from family, from church. And that was the time that I really said, I want to get into ministry. Whatever I received from people, I should be giving it back.
The whole concept of a call was kind of foreign to me. Is it some kind of supernatural thing that comes down and zaps you, or how would you know that you're called? I was on the corner, and all of a sudden I looked down at my BlackBerry, and there was a cross in my BlackBerry. So that was my call, I felt, and it led me to believe that God has a sense of humor.
I was supposed to be a police officer, but I've always loved to serve because my grandmother has her own church in the Dominican Republic, and she serves the children, and she's always served, and I grew up watching that. So it really inspired me.
I remember sitting in the pulpit in church and one day just kind of hearing, you're going to go to seminary. And I thought, what? What are you talking about? Me? I'm going to go to seminary? I'm working full-time. How can I go to seminary?
There are many ways students can pursue their calls to ministry at NYTS. The seminary has long organized its classes around the lives of working people with demanding schedules.
I am a single person. I didn't own a home. I didn't have all that money to invest, and I needed to keep working, and I didn't know how I could do it. I didn't know there was such a thing as a seminary where you didn't have to be in residence and give up all the rest of your life. So I was thrilled to find NYTS.
I am the president of the Student Association at NYTS. It's a challenging role because of the many other things that I do. I manage the advertising portion of telecommunications for the New York Times. When I recognized my call to ministry, New York Theological Seminary was the place for me because I've got a family, I've got a mortgage, I've got a car, I've got a lot of things I have to take care of. But New York Theological Seminary affords me the opportunity to work full-time and also to go to school in the evenings.
I thought being in graduate school and working full-time was going to be tense and difficult, and it is. But when I walk into the classroom at night, I feel like I've come home, and I actually relax.
In fact, most NYTS students juggle work, family, and seminary.
I'm Korean Association leader.
For this student leader, daily life includes studying, family commitments, and serving in ministry to the nursery school population at the Korean Community Church of New Jersey in Inglewood.
We study the Bible and we prayer meeting. NYTS feeling is so wonderful. Yeah, I study in here, so it's awesome. Yeah, awesome God.
We know, oh God, that this is a part of your plan and your purpose, dear Heavenly Father God.
At NYTS, we serve more than 600 students a year, teach in 5 different languages, and draw students from 6 continents. And over 50 denominations are represented. Rabbis, imams, Hindu priests, and Buddhist leaders also study together in this theologically diverse interfaith community.
Amen. Hallelujah.
These classes that I'm taking is definitely including Hinduism also, Buddhism and other religious traditions that they have. So which is pretty wide view. And so I'm happy actually to realize that they're trying to be open-minded and try to make a dialogue with other faiths.
At the end of the day, I think we're all a lot more connected on many levels than we might realize. And so I think one of the great things about the seminary is its ability to kind of break down barriers and break down silos and have different sectors, different theological backgrounds, different demographics.
Latino tenga una fuerte conexión con la pastoral.
Not only is the seminary theologically expansive, its curriculum provides a variety of academic tracks for students to pursue.
There are classes in how to teach history. There are classes in how to preach, how to do pastor care, how to teach Bible study.
A staple of the seminary's curriculum is practical work done by students in the urban setting. Some students are already engaged in urban ministry when they arrive, while others will move in that direction as part of their training.
I want to work in the urban areas, Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, wherever I can, to really reach out to young people and really try to help leadership to make their church relevant to a newer generation. I am so glad that I am at NYTS. The fact that I feel I'm at an institution that is challenging me academically, the fact that I feel I'm at an institution where I feel I'm part of the family, the fact that I'm at an institution where they're influencing and developing a body of leaders that would eventually impact the urban area of New York City and abroad, is a place that I want to be.
We've heard from more than one student who made a choice to come here, that this was a place where their spiritual journey was completed because they found not only a sense of themselves, but more importantly, found their place in the greater community.
My goal is to become a chaplain. And as of right now, I would say interfaith.
I'm not bored to preach or to ministry the church because very limited for women. But since I came here, I feel I am a minister. I can stand freely, and that is the school encouraged me to do.
I've had excellent teachers, and they've all challenged me in my perspective of ministry and my perspective of theology, making me rethink essentially everything that I've ever thought.
Seminary is a place where we can do a deep dive into what our beliefs are, to challenge our beliefs so that we can grow and be stronger in our beliefs, and that way we can go out and teach.
What I've found is even in my secular work situation, I'm finding opportunities to minister that I never would have seen before I started coming to classes at NYTS.
The exciting thing about New York Theological Seminary is that we have a program for every person imaginable.
This is really a place where I can express myself and express my adoration and praise and worship for the Lord and get a good education at the same time.
I'm thrilled to be here. I mean, I can't think of another seminary I would want to go to.